I was talking to my dad. I was teaching a class that day, so I'm driving at the university, talking to my dad, and then Graham Souness phones, and I would never hang up on my dad. But I said, listen, Graham Souness is phoning me right now, and he says, right, go, you just go and answer it, and then phone me back. So I answered it, and he's like, this coronavirus thing. Do you think that's a thing? My wife's getting a wee bit nervous about it, and this is early March. This is like the 3rd or 4th or 5th of March, whatever day it was. And I said, I've heard a lot about it. Like we're proceeding as if it's just a thing that's not really a thing. We're not 100% sure for right now. What a difference, a week or 2 weeks. And he said, okay, oh no, that's fine. We're just not 100% sure. And I said, okay. So then I go into class, and when I go into class, nothing disturbs me on my phone or anything like that. My focus and attention is 100% on the students. And then he phones again. And I just, every time I just get these butterflies in the stomach, and I kind of lose my breath a wee bit. And I'm like, you know what, folks, this is actually a very important business call here. I'm just going to excuse myself. You just if you just continue
as you were,
outside, and I'm on the phone, and he's like, you know what, maybe we just don't book anything, because I was literally ready to book the flights. And he says, maybe we don't book them just now. We'll just see how it goes over the next wee while. I says, yeah, absolutely. We don't want to put any pressure on, and then the world literally shut down after that. Hello and welcome to your NARSA Weekly Update for the week commencing Monday the 26th of January 2026. Wow, if Carlsberg did weekends, that would have been a weekend for the ages for our wonderful football club. Don't you think? It was absolutely, it was brilliant, and it's great. I mean, let's go right to kind of towards the end here. Looking at the league table now, it's really starting to become real. For me, you know, when you're looking and you're saying we've got some distance between us and that mob, and we have shortened the distance between us and Hearts at the top of the table, and you start to then see and feel exactly what the fruits of our labour have been in terms of the application per game that Danny Rule and his coaching staff have managed to do. And the thing I love about him, I think I've said it before, is that he just goes game by game, literally. And I know that's a wee bit of a cliche, but he'll just go and say, this is how we win this game. This is how we win that game. And it feels like we're in absolutely prime position now to really give ourselves an opportunity, genuine opportunity. I've said for a few weeks now, we're actually in the title race conversation. But when you look at the way we're playing and some of the reinforcements that have come in, you know, whether they've borne fruit in their first game or two is immaterial for right now. But the investment of everything, you know, it's absolutely brilliant. And it's very, very difficult to imagine that this is the same season as we were literally enduring in July, August, September, and October time. It's absolutely incredible. And I was saying to folks on the weekend, I honestly, genuinely think if we were to win the league this year, I think it would be the greatest comeback in Scottish footballing history, bar none. Bar none. Honestly, I genuinely believe that. And I might be statistically incorrect in saying that. It probably doesn't feel like it, because at one point we were like, what was it, 14, 16 points behind the leaders, at the top of the table there. And we were wallowing down in 8th or 9th position and just saying, like, let's try and get to 7, and then let's kind of try and get into the top 6, and then we'll see what happens from there. And it was just horrendous. And it feels like such a long time away, doesn't it? You know, it feels like, when you're now at that point when you're like, this doesn't seem like the same season. It doesn't seem like the same experience that I am having. So kudos, and I didn't say this at the time, but kudos to the ownership for taking the action that they took, certainly with the manager first and foremost, and then with the leadership of the club in terms of Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell. I'm assuming these guys were doing some good, but they weren't giving us the results that we needed. And there's just been a different feel about the club. And these guys are serious business people, and they're serious business sports people. And it's been great to see. So with the benefit of hindsight, it felt, in fact, I still maintain it was way too long. We kept Russell Martin for an extra month longer than he should have been kept. But other than that, they've made some swift decisions, and they've said, right, this is what what the club needs based on what their knowledge is to date. So good for them. And, to go from a season that was being completely written off earlier than we were ever writing seasons off, and we've wrote a lot of seasons off fairly early in the season, to the spot that we're in now, having played the same amount of games and being 4 points behind and 2 points ahead of first and third respectively. I think that's absolutely incredible. And honestly, I think we're in prime position to win this, based on everything that's going on right now, based on the injury problems that we've had, based on the way that we've managed to nurture some of these players to really grow into the team and start to really, really play well and become the players that we were hoping they were going to be. I'm thinking Fernandez, Magoma for a point and things like that, and getting tunes out of the other players. Another critical goal from Danilo there, and it's just one of these things. So for this week, we just finalise the European campaign, come out of that relatively unscathed, and then we've got a bit of a tough run coming up here. And I guess I could probably say that all the time, but we are away to Hibs on Sunday, then we've got Kilmarnock at home, and then we're at home to Hearts. Then we're away to Motherwell, then we're at home to Hearts, then we're away to Livingston, and then we're at home to that mob. That's just over the next, 3 weeks or so. So what a run that is. And by the way, what an opportunity that is for us to create even more distance between us and that mob, and close the gap and or even overtake Hearts as well. And that isn't the usual mental mathematics that I do all the time. Like the way they were playing, we're going to have to play these teams at some point. I was talking to my brother-in-law Andy about that yesterday at the game, and why not right now when we're on the crest of a wave with all these wins under our belt, and more importantly, that's 5 clean sheets in a row. So what a start. What a start to the week. I'm absolutely delighted and buzzing. So I'll get through the game segment here quite quickly. What we do have is a wee special bonus interview with the chairman of the Dubai Loyal, Colin McCabe, good pal of NARSA's and a great guy overall. And they have their Legends Weekend this weekend with the magnificent one, Graham Souness, Ian Durrant, Mark Haitley and singer Robin Keane. And we are, what would you say, sharing, or they've got custody of our MC. They've got David Edgar this week for their event, and then we get to retain the custody where his home truly is for the Nashville event here in June. So the first game was Thursday's 1-0 win over Ludogorets. Hopefully that's the last time I ever have to say that ever on a podcast ever again. And despite us being out, so here's the thing, I thought that we were actually technically out of the tournament, but my understanding is at the beginning of the game, there was still a whole bunch of permutations that could have occurred that might have given us a chance to go into the last game of the campaign with an opportunity to qualify for the playoffs. That has now subsequently left, but I didn't realise that. We were out after the first 4 games in my head anyway, so it was just one of these things. But another opportunity to gel as a team, to gel with the fans and continue the progress under Danny Rule, and that's what we did, and I thought it was a decent enough game, actually. I think overall it was they're well within the hunt. And, unfortunately, one of these things, a result for us kind of helps that mob from the East End in terms of their quest to qualify for the playoffs. But we were just really concentrating, I should say, on the requirements of the coefficient, because it looks like there's a really strong chance that the winners of the league this year will go straight into the Champions League group stage rather than qualification. It's not an absolute guarantee. So the coefficient points are really, really important for us. So it was, we're obviously just looking after ourselves there, but the goal came from Mo Diamandi, who I thought actually had a really good game. I really did. I thought he had a great game, actually, and one of his better here. It seems to almost be like, since he never qualified for to go to the African Cup of Nations, that he's been in a position to say, right, okay, I need to take control of my own destiny a wee bit more and do the things that got me played into the national team first and foremost. So we've seen a resurgence on him, and I was quite surprised he actually never started the game yesterday. But yeah, it was good. Yeah, and with lots and lots of other chances, lots of chances for both teams, actually, quite end to end, especially towards the end of the game. But it was great for us to finally break the duck of not winning a game in Europa League for this year. And we are now not bottom, and we're a wee bit further away from the bottom than we were before. We're now 31st of 36 teams there, so hopefully we've an opportunity to climb a wee bit higher and see what the game against Porto brings. In terms of the positives even, that's a different word. The positives was a win, the 3 points, the money that goes with that. It's not an insignificant amount of money you get for each point. And the win streak, I think, being extended is great. I thought Finlay Curtis did really well when he came on, and what a shot he had. If you didn't get a chance to see it, go look at the highlights of the game. I thought it was going to be goal of the week, or goal of the group stages. The way he cut inside, this curling shot, and the goalie, man, oh man, he made a brilliant save to deny him, and it would have been great for his confidence to get that. But even just the way that the goal would have come about had it gone in, it would have been brilliant. But it was good to see Finlay Curtis making a big impact when he came on. In terms of negatives, no complaints, no injuries, which is a key thing for us, and a win is great. So no negatives on that. In terms of the stats, the Rangers website said we actually had 50% possession, which is kind of odd. You don't see that very often. 50% possession, 10 shots on goal with 7 on target. Scored one of them, not a great ratio, I guess, versus 10 shots for them and 4 on target. So, yeah, fairly entertaining, open game and quite even. And in terms of the referee, he was quite inconsequential for me in the first half. And then as the game wore on, he I don't know what happened to him at half time. I don't know what he was smoking or taking or drinking or whatever it was, but he came out and had a nightmare, an absolute mare in the second half. I thought, giving us absolutely nothing, letting way too many fouls go, and that's the thing. Apart from that, I think it's a version of biasness, I should say, in terms of refereeing. But my main concern is obviously how it would impact the result, yes, but the impact, the physical impact on the players. If we're getting booted all over the place, like Gassama was just getting ragdolled everywhere, and he decided to give him nothing. So that's a pattern now, because we see that in Scotland. And usually from a European perspective, the referees are a wee bit more unbiased and fair. But Gassama's not getting a lot from the European ref as well. So what's happening in the game that he's in some way courting whatever behaviour, courting whatever inaction the referees are taking there? But yeah, I thought he had an awful end to the game. So you know what? I think I'm going to give him 5.5 out of 10 for that one. I think he was. I thought he lost the plot towards the end of the game. It was just dumb. So yeah, one more to go in Europe, and then that's us done for this season. The second one was Sunday's 3-0 win at home to Dundee. Now here's the thing for me, and it really resonated with me after the game, quite some time after the game, not so much during the game. But I didn't enjoy that game yesterday until the very end, until extra time. Now here's the difference. I didn't think we were going to lose a goal. Dundee very rarely threatened. We nullified their threats all over the pitch. But when it's 1-0, you just kind of never know. I just don't think we played that well. We didn't do all the things that we've been doing really, really well on the day, and it wasn't very entertaining to watch, especially the first half. And it was just one of these things where it was stressful. Actually, folks, that's exactly what I'm saying. It was difficult to watch, and it's not until you get the 2 goals at extra time, which gives us the scoreline doesn't reflect what the game looked like, but it kind of did in terms of chances, in terms of dominance of possession and such. But it was difficult to watch it, and purely through managing my own emotions is what I mean. And so what I did was I gave myself a wee talking to in the afternoon yesterday, and I thought, I'm not going to do that. We've got, what is it now, 15 games left, something like that, and I'm going to enjoy every single one, and just be there and be in the experience and be in the moment. All the stressful stuff was really at the beginning of the season. This is now sheer desire to get the result, and it was a huge result, obviously, based on what happened over at Tynecastle, both of them losing points. So it's one of these things for me where just take a chill pill, Gary, man. Just relax, just watch the game. Nothing you're going to say, and no amount of pacing up and down. And I'm not a basket case or anything like that. I was just very tense, and I don't like being like that. I like to try and do my best to watch it and still care the same amount. So that was my experience. What was your experience? Were you the same, or were you a wee bit more relaxed than me? I don't know. We had the VAR delay for the OG that happened a wee bit earlier, which I don't know why they took so long. It was quite obvious that he impeded the player for the player to put it in. But it was just a clunky start, very, very dirge kind of first half. for me, there was a penalty at the beginning of the second half, clear penalty. Actually, none of us in the club, we only had 7 people down there, including one guest, with 15, 16 games to go in a league championship that we've turned around. The people are still staying away, so I'm hoping for bigger crowds down at Pinba over the next wee while. I thought that would have been a bigger one. The weather wasn't that great, to be fair, and it's only Dundee, but I'm hoping that we'll get the bigger crowds in for the remainder of the season. But the interesting thing from the penalty, which was expertly dispatched by Tav, despite the keeper getting his hands to it for his 100th league goal. Absolutely incredible return there. But the interesting thing was the referee never booked the guy for that, and that was a wild challenge. I mean, you could justify a red for that, I thought, but no, not booking, and it's just a shocker from Kevin Clancy. How many times have you heard me say that? So yeah, it wasn't. That was a bit disappointing, but yeah, 100th league goal for him. But as I say, kind of tense without being troubled is the way that I would kind of qualify how the game went, and then in extra time, and this is key. And I would hope that the coaching staff are drumming this into the players to say, if and when you have the opportunity, score, because goal difference might be very, very material to our chances of success or lack of as we progress through this season. So to get the 2 late goals from Danilo and Gassama, 2 really, really good goals as well. It was absolutely brilliant, and it was great. Then we just stuck on the Arsenal game after it and had a pint and just kind of toasted our success. It's great to feel great about the club on a more consistent basis now. So yeah, that was all she wrote, and that's it's another example actually of Danny Rule's substitutes changing the complex of the game, the complexion of the game. So it was great. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it overall. Once I know what the result was after it. But in terms of the positives, the win, of course, 3 points, absolutely critical with those 2 other teams or 2 other closest challengers playing each other, closing the gap there. Being second outright in the table is absolutely brilliant, closing a wee bit of the goal difference gap as well. And good to see a debut for Skov Olsen. Although he wasn't really that involved in the game, but he never got injured, which is kind of cool, and he'll have a feeling flavour for what things are going to look like when some of the smaller teams come to Ibrox, and hopefully we'll get to see a wee bit more about him and of him as he goes forward. But great to get that debut out of the way. It's always a wee bit better when it's at home as well, isn't it? In terms of the negatives, it just wasn't very pretty for long periods of time. It looked like the conditions were kind of honking during the game, very, very kind of cold, kind of rainy and such. But, I just thought if we had let ourselves go a wee bit, there was one point, and they actually noticed this during the game, where I think it was Jigga that had come up to roughly about 3/4 of the way in our half, and then just stopped dead and then just waited for something to happen rather than bringing it up. And it seemed like that was part of the philosophy of the coaching, to try and maybe draw them out or whatever it was. But it wasn't good viewing. You're like, what are you stopping for? Keep going. So that was a wee bit frustrating, but we did what we needed to do, so it's not really negative. It was just kind of frustrating in and of the moment. In terms of the possession, it was only 54% possession for us, but we had 15 shots on goal with 8 on target, scored 3 of them. So that's a fairly decent return, almost pushing 50% of a return there, versus Dundee had 4 shots with 1 on target. And as I said, I didn't think they were really, really threatening, but you just never know with just that 1 goal there. In terms of the ref watch, Kevin Clancy did Kevin Clancy things, didn't he? I thought I actually literally said in the club he must have forgot his yellow card in the first half, and we're refereed to different standards, and what I mean by that is it feels like we're harshly punished for things that other teams don't get punished for, and there's a bit of an open goal for us against it, or for teams playing against us, where they'll have an opportunity to boot us 2 or 3 times before the referee goes, right, okay, that's probably yellow card worthy there, and that's not good enough. Like, if we were to do that, how many times have you seen, the jersey pulls, people are getting pulled back now and there's no foul given and then no yellow card, which my understanding is the rules are, it's supposed to be a foul and a yellow card. If you're going to let the play go, absolutely fine with that, but then take it back and then book the guy for it, because that's the rules, unless it's not. I don't know, but it seems like we're refereed quite differently. So he wasn't doing a lot of booking. I think he brandished 1 yellow card towards the end of the half, and I thought we had a penalty shout for a shove on Mikey Moore, which the guy just basically went in with his elbow, didn't he, in the back there, and It didn't seem like it went to VAR. If it did, it was a lightning quick check where they're like, no, you're not going to get it. And then he did give the penalty, which was a wee surprise in and of the moment. But if that one had gone to VAR, it would have absolutely been a penalty. There was no doubt about that. So overall, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. I don't think he did the base level standard of his job, and it wasn't really good enough. So yeah, 2 successful games for us, and we'll take it. 2 clean sheets, 2 victories, and we march on. Big games for us this week. The last game away in Porto, our old Europa League foes there, and that's on Thursday the 29th of January at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kickoff, and we'll get this European campaign well and truly behind us. And then our next league game is away to Hibs, as I mentioned earlier, and that's a semi-early kickoff. It's a 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time kickoff. Hibs, Motherwell, maybe a wee bit of Aberdeen. These are teams that are capable of taking points off the top 3, and we need to go out there and do what we need to do to get that. That'd be a massive result for us to get that behind us with 3 points. Come on, Rangers, that would be great. In terms of the shout-outs for this week, I'm going to start with a personal shout-out to my love, Erin, who is having a very significant milestone birthday this week. And I don't think it's a polite or gentlemanly thing to do to mention a 50th birthday or anything like that. So I'm not going to mention the age or anything because that's just not my style at all. But I just want to wish you a very, very happy birthday. Birthday's on Wednesday. We're having a party down at Palomino on Saturday afternoon, which I am sure is going to spill into the evening, which is going to make it kind of rough and tough for the Hibs game on Sunday morning. But Erin is a very, very special lassie. If you've had a chance to meet her, she's very special because she puts up with me first and foremost. But we've been together through not the best of Rangers times, and she is so patient and polite and supportive through our resurgence up through the lower leagues to re-establishing ourselves in the Premiership, and then 55 and then all the things that came with that. But all the work that I have done on behalf of the Rangers Supporters Club of Calgary and of NARSA is time that has been taken away from us as a family and such. And she's never complained, and she's always been supportive and allowed me to do this with the minimum of fuss. And that doesn't go underappreciated, it doesn't go unnoticed. And I thank you very, very, very much for that. Have a wonderful birthday, my love. I look forward to spoiling you on the day and enjoying the day with you on Saturday. Nice one there. And on Saturday of the day of the party, it's also my nephew Callum's birthday, and he's going to be there with his lovely wife Carly and his boy Hudson, and we'll get a chance to, I don't know, we'll get some cake, or we'll certainly have some beers, absolutely have some beers and enjoy the day there and get a chance to toast his birthday as well. A wee bit of a sad one here. This was announced on the WhatsApp, the NARSA WhatsApp Rangers chat yesterday, and it's from Toronto Midtown, and I'll just read it out here if you don't mind. We are sad to announce TMRSC lost a great friend in Jimmy Cooke recently. Jimmy passed away on Wednesday after a year-long illness. Jimmy was a regular fixture at our club, Toronto number 1, and NARSA conventions over the years. He loved horse racing and holidays to Stornoway for hill walking and visiting family in Glasgow. We are glad your suffering is over and you are at peace. Your pals at Toronto Midtown Rangers Supporters Club. And the outpouring of condolences and respect and admiration for Jimmy was incredible on the WhatsApp group there. It's been kind of quiet of late, and it was great just to see everybody rallying around and passing on the condolences on behalf of the Rangers Supporters Club of Calgary, of course. Sincere condolences to Jimmy, his friends and family, and on behalf of NARSA, the exact same sentiment as well. Very, very sad news there. That's a shame. And another reminder here, I've actually got 2 musical reminders that with Nathan Evans and the St. Phoenix Band, who I am going to see in Nashville for Erin's birthday. That's the birthday gift that she's getting from me next month. Actually, that's probably exactly a month away right now, I think, or 4 weeks away, something like that. And their Angels Share album has come out. We did some promo on the NARSA network, and they were delighted. I think they're actually number 4 in the album charts, which is absolutely incredible. They were targeting for top 10, so it's amazing for that. And so continue. best of luck. Keep going. If you haven't got the album yet, please do. And also good friend and regular attendee and entertainer Callum Beattie has launched his new album INDI, 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 I'm assuming it's called. And they launched that last week. And there's, you know what, I think the thing with these things here is that there's always a story. Like when we're organising a NARSA event, you know, whether it's a convention or a destination event or something like that, there's a lot of work that goes into the background of these things. And what it does is it gives you a real appreciation for the work that goes into actually producing these events and then hosting these events and then having them go off without a hitch and then making sure everybody's concentrating on the right things. It's the exact same with any walk of life, really, truly. But when you're thinking about producing an album and then all the effort and energy that it takes into actually producing the album, writing the songs, getting the recording time, getting it down, getting it produced right, all those things, and then the marketing that comes after it, and then St. Phoenix and Nathan Evans and the St. Phoenix Band are now embarking upon their world tour. It's a big deal. So in order for us to be able to get the opportunity to help support them, it's a privilege that I don't take lightly, and I'm delighted to do so. So Callum Beattie's indie album is out there, and Nathan Evans and the St. Phoenix Boys Angel Shear album is out there too. If you're into that sort of stuff, then please do go and purchase your copy. And we did get confirmation last week. I'm not sure if this is a shout out. I wasn't sure whether to do it in communications or just do it here. But just to shout out the official confirmation of Stevie Smith being formally appointed to the first team coach at Rangers. The kind of Danny Rule had talked about it. That's probably a couple of months, isn't it? Maybe just a wee bit less than that or something. I can't remember. And it was officially confirmed last week, just until the end of the season, which I thought was a wee bit of an eyebrow raise, but maybe there's a reason, a rationale for that. But Stevie Smith joined us in 2014 in Toronto, and great guy, kind of quiet guy, just went about his stuff at the convention, just super quiet, not really getting in anybody's faces or anything like that. And he seems to have really, that seems to be his personality, and that's how he's approached his coaching career as well. So good for him, and well done. It's always really good to have a Rangers man there and someone who knows the club and who knows what it's like to play for the club as an added bonus as well. So congratulations to him. The NARCO event is coming up here. What would that be? 3 weeks away, the NARCO event, and that's at Myrtle Beach this year from February the 12th to the 15th. Most of the events are taking place at the Old Bull and Bush pub, so if you just happen to stagger upon that place during that weekend, you will be met and greet with a whole bunch of Rangers fans there. There's a bunch of golf, there's a curry night on the Saturday. I'll leave the email address in the show notes there. It's narco2025 at outlook.com, and Colin will Andy Burnett will get back to you with the details of that. Another reminder for Amanda and Jason Junior Ross running the London Marathon this April on behalf of the British Legion, and I'll leave the link for that. If you look to donate, anything would be absolutely appreciated, even just £1 or $1 or a blim blam or a whatever your currency is. It would be much appreciated by Amanda and Jason Jr. So hopefully you can get that done. So this is the part where I'm going to cut to the interview with Colin to discuss his Legends event this weekend, and I will be back in a wee minute. Enjoy this part. Hello and welcome to a very special segment for this week's podcast. I'm delighted. I think I mentioned this last week. I was going to try and make this happen, or maybe I didn't. It was in my head. I don't know. But I'm delighted to have my good pal, Colin McCabe, who is the chairman of the Dubai Loyal Rangers Supporters Club, but here to talk about his Legends event that they are hosting this coming week with the Legends. And I don't know what order to do it, and I know who I'm going to mention last. But you have the MC, David Edgar. Man, that guy gets about. I guess he's coming straight from Dubai over to Nashville to be with us, pretty much. You've got Mark Haitley. You've got Ian Durant. You have an entertainer there. You have Robin Keane joining you to provide some entertainment. And then you have the magnificent one. Not only do you have all those other legends, you have the guy who helped create the MB Legends, Mr. Graham Souness. Colin, thank you very much for joining me, my friend.
No problem at all, Gary. Thanks very much for having us along.
Absolutely delighted. We were just chatting before we started recording there about the I guess we were kind of exchanging war stories about the challenges and trials and tribulations of organising an event. And you're in a really, really unique situation this week because your event is literally, as we're recording this, 2 or 3 days away. So what I know from the years and years of organising events with NARSA is the experience and the enjoyment and the stress levels are different at different points in the organisation. And I can't say that I truly enjoy the last few days prior to the event starting, because you're like, please, everything work. Please just show up when you're supposed to show up. I hope the weather's okay. I hope the event location's okay. I hope the guests are in good form and things like that. What's your experience been like since you made the announcement last year?
Absolutely that. There's been moments where you're full of confidence and you think, oh, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be easy. It's going to be a scoosh to get the numbers that you want for each event. And then there's moments and you just think, how's this going to happen? Actually, I think the first moment it kind of came to me, maybe after we made the announcement, or I found out that Graham in particular had agreed to do it, and it took a few hours to get to sleep that night, just thinking, all the things we're going to have to do over the next few months. This would have been September or August, September last year. But then you just get into it. You make the announcement. Everyone's got that sort of bubble of excitement, and then you just have to start planning and getting things organised. So, but you're right. This is a part-time voluntary exercise, but it certainly starts to sort of take over your spare time, definitely, whilst you're trying to devote loads of time to your full-time job as well. So, but we've got a good committee as well. So, there's a good bunch of guys in the supporters club. There's guys outside the committee that have helped, particularly in the last month or so. They've been really, really helpful. So I'm probably at that stage now. I can't wait till Friday, but equally I probably can't wait till Monday once it's a memory we can look back on it. I think Friday night is going to be something special, something different. Graham done a radio interview just here in Dubai a couple of hours ago, and I was sitting listening to it, and just the knowledge that we're going to have a couple of hours of that with the other guys as well. I mean, a few folk have said to me the lineup was just magnificent, and it is. Mr. Magnificent. And then the two other guys, Mark was here last year, and he was fantastic. We had Lee McCulloch and Tomo out here as well, Kevin Thompson. So that was a brilliant group of guys. And then I've met Ian a couple of times, but without really speaking to him much, so I'm really looking forward to that as well. I mean, these guys are heroes, and I've said that a few times, but to sit in the same room with these guys or to talk to them is just brilliant. You've got to pinch yourself.
Aye, absolutely, and you're right. It does take a village to be able to get all this organised, and it's volunteer. Absolutely. People are dipping in, dipping out. And one thing you didn't mention there in terms of time constraints was your family as well, and the impacts that it has to your family. Where it sounds like your missus and your boy are kind of like my missus and my boy, where they're like, okay, we'll see you next time. You're not going to do this all the time, are you?
I've obviously been doing this a few years now, but this is by far and away the biggest thing we've tried to pull off. And to be fair, my wife, her business is helping out with sponsorship, and that's another thing you've got to remember. The sponsors that pull in when it comes to these things that just make life a lot easier. From the sort of financial point of view, and by chance, the local radio station's just around the corner tonight, and by pure chance, there was a contact that was given us signed Ranger strips. I had to go there, and the girl took me and my son into the studios, and so he was buzzing. He had his Ranger strip on. Was absolutely loving it. So yeah, I mean, the whole family are involved, and it's just a lot goes into it, but it's enjoyable. There is moments, there's moments you just think, oh, why am I doing this? But then your phone goes and it says Graham Souness, and you think, right,
Yeah.
that's the moment that you know that this is real, and that's the nice part of it. Just speaking to these guys.
It definitely is, and creating that relationship, as you say, they are definitely our heroes. I had a similar experience back in 2000. We were having the theme for San Francisco in 2000 for our convention was going to be managers. So we had Walter Smith, we had Alec McLeish, and we had Graham Souness, and it was going to be the manager theme. And I was speaking to him. Now, how did that go? I was talking to my dad. I was teaching a class that day, so I'm driving at the university, talking to my dad, and then Graham Souness phones, and I would never hang up on my dad. But I said, "Listen, Graham Souness is phoning me right now," and he says, "Right, go, you just go and answer it, and then phone me back." So I answered it, and he's like, "This coronavirus thing. Do you think that's a thing?" My wife's getting a wee bit nervous about it, and this is early March. This is like the 3rd or 4th or 5th of March, whatever day it was. And I said, "I've heard a lot about it. Like we're proceeding as if it's just a thing that's not really a thing. We're not 100% sure for right now. What a difference, a week or 2 weeks." And he said, "Okay, oh no, that's fine. We're just not 100% sure." And I said, "Okay." So then I go into class, and when I go into class, nothing disturbs me on my phone or anything like that. My focus and attention is 100% on the students. And then he phones again. And I just, every time I just get these butterflies in the stomach, and I kind of lose my breath a wee bit. And I'm like, you know what, folks, this is actually a very important business call here. I'm just going to excuse myself. You just if you just continue
as you were,
outside, and I'm on the phone, and he's like, "You know what? Maybe we just don't book anything," because I was literally ready to book the flights.
Ready.
And he says, "Maybe we don't book them just now. We'll just see how it goes over the next wee while." I says, "Yeah, absolutely. We don't want to put any pressure on," and then the world literally shut down after that. But that experience, and one thing when you were talking there earlier, Colin, which I'm actually saying this out loud so that I remember to do this when we have our event in Nashville in June, is it would be really good to get information, feedback from the legends that are there, from Ian and Mark and Graham, to say, "Listen, how was this experience for you? You know, like in terms of the organisation, in terms of the communication, in terms of the logistics, in terms of the preparedness, in terms of our overall ability to put these shows on. You do a lot of this sort of stuff. Is there any, you could have done that a wee bit more? We didn't really need that. That was excellent. I've never seen that before."
Yeah.
Because we've left a lot on the table over the years when the guests have left, and we've just said, "Thanks very much for coming. You know, we hope to see you again," and never really asked them how it went.
Yeah.
Is that something you plan to do?
It's one of these things. I mean, last year we got a good bit of positive feedback. I think, you know, Davey was here last, Davey Edgar, and, you know, he's always complimentary. So you kind of take that and move on, but you're absolutely right. You know, it'd be good to actually ask the question, just pull them aside before they depart and just say, how did this actually go? You know, be honest almost, you know.
Yeah.
And by the way, they're no shrinking violets either. So I'm sure if they're not happy, you'll soon find out about it as well. That's what I've always remembered dealing with. Most folk coming from Scotland, actually, not just football legends. You know, if they're not happy about something, they'll soon tell you. So, but it's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah, I certainly, you're right. You don't have to guess. So, in terms of the actual logistics, talk us through the events and let us know about the situation in terms of ticket availability for folks that are maybe still considering it.
Yeah, so Thursday night is actually the first kind of touch point. Actually, we've got the Portal game. It's a midnight kickoff here, so it's not ideal for everybody. But Graham doesn't come through to Dubai until Friday. He's actually in Abu Dhabi. So but Davey, I think Robin as well, and Mark and Ian will be in our bar, 23rd Street in Al Barsha, Dubai, on Thursday evening for the game. I'll probably do, I've said to Davey, we'll probably do a quick Q&A with him, actually, just to get some of his experience, similar to what we're doing just now. So that won't be long, it's probably half an hour or something before the kick-off, because we have got a bit of time just because of the late kick-off. And then hopefully that all goes well. We get a nice result on Thursday evening or Friday morning, and then it's a big showpiece event. Really, is the Friday evening, and that's at the Movenpick Grand Plaza Hotel in Media City in Dubai. So we'll do probably like so there's a drinks package involved in the price of the tickets. So it's basically a buffet dinner, drinks package for 3 hours, and then we'll start the Q&A just before 8 o'clock. So I suppose doors at 6 o'clock will be a cash bar for an hour. Then the package will start at 7 o'clock. We can sit for some food. Robin will sing some songs during that period, and then we'll get things moving, and get to hear from the guys, which is obviously the whole point of the evening. So, so the sort of drinks and food will go into 10 o'clock. And then I think we'll probably have an hour or so after that, and I'm sure people start to drift off up towards midnight. So that's the kind of showpiece. The next day is probably a bit more relaxed. So it's at Five Irons Golf, which is at the West End, Winasiahi, just along Beach Road, near the marina in Dubai. And it's like one of these golf simulator places. So there's like golf simulator booths, there's Crazy Golf, there's Beat the Keeper, so it'll be a much more relaxed atmosphere. Robin will be singing again. She'll sing a few of her favourite ditties, and then I think Davey will probably do like just small, like 5-minute chats, just as an introduction to the guys. But I would say it's more a chance to sort of rub shoulders, and certainly like last year, it wasn't formal, the sort of brunch day at all. It's just families go, wife, kids, and just take your chance to, get up and say your piece to the guys. But no, it's a really nice kind of relaxed day. So that's I think we'll go there from 1, but it officially starts at 2 o'clock till 5, and then we'll see where the evening takes us after that. So can't be too late. We're playing golf on the Sunday. So we're at Arabian Ranches Golf Course in Dubai. It's a 1 o'clock tee off shotgun on the Sunday. And once we've finished that, we're back to the club for the Hibs match. So we'll get a watch along. And I expect the place to be pretty busy. We had 175 in for the last Old Firm match. So
if you want to start on social media, I'm like that, absolutely bouncing.
The thing is, like obviously, if you don't win these games, they obviously turn into a damp squib very quickly. So it was obviously quite the opposite. And so at half time, you're sort of head and hands, and then by the end of it, the place was literally bouncing. So it was really good. So hopefully we get a bit more of that feeling on Sunday, and that'll be it. And it'll be lie down on Monday and enjoy the memories. So ticket wise, we're pretty much full at capacity. We're like within, I think we've got maybe 10 spaces left, something like that, on the Friday night. We've got a few more spaces on the Saturday, and we could squeeze some more in at the golf on Sunday as well. So if anybody's interested, it's all over our social media. There's links there, so either DM us, we can send you a link to a form, and then we sort out the payment, or dubailoyal.com, and again there's a link there to a form to fill out. So it's I mean, even doing this without these guys, it would be a good weekend for us and get everybody together. That's about 4 or 5 years ago it started as that. It was like we had like Christmas get together, kind of Christmas brunches, and then I think we brought Derek Johnson out one year, and then the following year Derek came out with a few people, and then Mark came out. So it's just it's snowballed a little bit, and I'm probably taking a little leaf out of NARSA's book and what you guys do with the conventions. So it's almost see this like a mini convention, without calling it that, but it's kind of getting to that point. So and certainly we're getting the guys of this caliber. It adds a little bit more to it. So no, it just every day again I just think, like, Friday, what's that going to look like? And I kind of a smile on my face. So I'm now in that kind of last arrangements getting made, and just looking forward to everybody turning up and enjoying the evening.
It's going to be a brilliant time. I look forward to the drunken photos and the selfies that you're going to send me invariably when you get to that.
Yeah.
Good luck. We'll get all the links on.
Something like this all the time, just minus
Exactly.
the perm.
Exactly. It's going to be a great time. Please do pass on my best to the remainder of your committee and your membership, and of course the guys when they're there. Thanks for coming on the show. All the very, very best of luck with the event, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes, my friend.
Thanks so much, Gary, for having us on. Cheers. All the best.
Okay. Sounds like they've got it going on. What a guest lineup they have, Absolutely brilliant. Colin's a great guy, done a great job organising these things, and it's been great to provide a wee bit of support to him during this last run-in, the final mile, as they say. It's going to be a great event. I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. In terms of our own event for Destination NARSA in Nashville 2016, I can officially confirm it's 135 days and 19 weeks. We're now in the teens, folks, until Nashville 2026. That is of course June 11th to the 14th, 2026. It's World Cup opening weekend. We are organising our events in and around that. We did do some major announcements last week, and just in case you missed that, we have 9 in a row legend Davey Robertson. We have 9 in a row cult hero Scott Nisbet. We have Stuart Hay from The Journey Back going to provide us with entertainment for the weekend. We have David Edgar as our MC. As I said, we will have full custody of him by then. And we also have our very own Colin Bowman, DJ Angry Bear, and that's not a joke or a funny thing. He is angry 100% of the time. And he's also a great DJ, so that works out wonderfully well for us. He's going to be doing that as well. We are still actively working, literally, probably as I'm recording this, working on another guest or maybe two. We'll see how that goes over the next wee while. It's been, at some point, I'll get Brian Campbell. At some point, we'll get him on to talk about the journey of securing guests. And I mentioned last week, it's not a linear process, and we have kind of major things that are always in place in terms of the do's and don'ts and what we pay for, what we don't, things like that. But it's such a science. It's such an art, I should say, to actually get these things over the line. And this year, for a variety of reasons, that has been a struggle, and not because people are not keen to come to Nashville and be part of an NARSA event, just a bizarre series of events that have given us an opportunity to be in a situation where we haven't announced the guests as quickly as we would like. But that will change, and hopefully I will have at least one more to announce to you for next week. So please do go and book your hotel room. I believe we've sold out of the first block, and we're now in a situation where we have to increase the block, which is great news. Please do go and secure your tickets. The ticket purchasing is critical from our organisation perspective, because it gives us an opportunity to know, one, obviously how many people are coming, and two, how much working capital that we have in terms of funds to be able to make the event that we want it to be. So yeah, it's creeping up. We're in the teens now. Other NARSA business, we did have a NARSA executive meeting last, what day was that? Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. And it was dominated by the Destination NARSA 2026 event, where we went through what we were doing. We talked about the need for really amping up our opportunity for sponsorship and ticket sales and things like that. So that's really where we're focusing our efforts and energy. So once again, from a sponsorship perspective, if you would like to sponsor this podcast, if you'd like to get some sponsorship real estate on our website, on our socials, if you're just kind of thinking, I would like to do something, I'm not 100% sure what it is, please reach out directly to us and we will get you the information you need. You can contact us on social media. You can email me directly at rangersscc@hotmail.com. That's 2 S's and 2 C's. And get involved, put a comment on the podcast, and we'll get an opportunity to reply to you, and we'll work something out. We do have packages that are standard kind of bespoke packages. That's not standard and bespoke, that's dumb to say both of those at the same time, but they're standard packages that we've created that would be at least a starter for a conversation for you, to give you that opportunity to see the type and style of investment that would be required and what you're going to get for that investment. The more sponsorship we can get, the more we can then have that working capital that I mentioned a wee bit earlier, to give us a better opportunity to make the event even more magnificent than it is going to be. In terms of communication for this week, there was a Gers guide out out there. And for today, there's going to be the Inside Ibrox for the Dundee game from yesterday. There is a special interview that wasn't published yesterday with Captain James Tavernier talking about his 100 league goals. Absolutely incredible achievement. Like, we're in the future NARSA events, we're going to get James Tavernier over and someone's going to read out his stats and his bio and such, and we're going to go wild for the guy because his record is absolutely incredible in not the best era for Rangers and certainly not the best Rangers teams over time. Absolutely incredible. Rangers women's team highlights are also there. The Rangers women's team drew 1-1 with Glasgow City yesterday, which put the team then into third place because that mob from the East End won their game. So we are now in third place. I think 2 points behind them, and must be 2 points behind them, and still 7 points behind Glasgow City. So it's not a defeat. So there's no more really. There's no more daylight between both places, both teams, I should say. But really looking to win that one. That would have been handy to win that one. So we'll see what that looks like. And they're in semi-final action in the Sky Sports Cup it's an Old Firm game against that mob from the East End this coming weekend. So some big games for the team, which is great. Tomorrow there's going to be a loan review and some other bits and pieces. On Wednesday it's the press conference for the Porto game. And there's a feature there with Mia Macaulay featuring a preview of the Sky Sports Cup semi-final Old Firm game. That's on Wednesday too. On Thursday, of course, is the Porto game, and that's at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. UK. On Friday, there's another feature on the Sky Sports Cup semi-final with Leanne Crichton, the Rangers women's team manager. And Saturday, not a whole lot listed there. And then on Sunday, of course, there's the two games. Was the Hibs game at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the semi-final, that's a 1:40 odd kick-off time, 1:40 p.m. So once again, the women and the men are playing at the same time. I guess, what's that, 20 minutes? They kick off 20 minutes before we do, something like that. So all the very, very best. We've owned that cup the last couple of seasons, so hopefully that continues this weekend as well. And just one last thing here, just to talk about, there was a feature done from the communications team at Ibrox last week there, and I thought it was brilliant, and I thought it was really honest and open and quite a blatant, advert for coming to the games. Quite frankly, marketing to go to the games. And the article on the website said, Rangers today launched, this is last week sometime, Rangers today launched a new campaign, Ibrox isn't Ibrox without you, as the club heads into an important run of fixtures. The campaign is built around a simple idea. Ibrox comes alive when it's full. The noise, the energy, the commitment from the fans, and that backing can give the team a real lift when matches are tight. With Danny Rule and his staff in the dugout, new faces through the door, and the team putting together 7 wins in a row at the time of publishing this document, obviously. This article, I should say. There's a sense of momentum building at exactly the right time. I couldn't agree more. The campaign launches this week ahead of the game against Dundee with a new video and will be built on as the run-in unfolds. Chief Communications and Marketing Officer Greg Mailer said, and this, I really liked this. I liked that the honesty of the message here, really genuinely taking the position that we're in right now and using it for good, to continue to build more momentum. And Greg Mailer said that got us thinking. With Danny Rule in place and with the squad strengthened, there's a real opportunity in front of us. We all know the impact that a full house at Ibrox can have. We wanted to build something around that and to reflect the togetherness that is growing between the fans and the team. And it finishes by saying, Ibrox isn't Ibrox without you. Full house, full voice, full 90. And by the way, the fans are sticking around a lot longer now, aren't they? Especially, as we get better, literally and figuratively get better. So this bond and camaraderie between both is just, it's just brilliant. It's just absolutely fantastic to see and experience. And it's the same, as I mentioned, even just with the 7 people that were down in the club yesterday. So great. And if my ears serve me right, it's narrated by Walter Smith's son, Stephen. Neil. My apologies. Stephen's the other brother who I haven't met. Walter Smith's son, Neil, is the narrator of the video as well. So that's fantastic. So please do like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. We always appreciate that. Any comments that you have there are most welcome as well. It's good to get a wee bit of dialogue and banter with anyone, and it helps us with our numbers. And I've been very blatant about saying that. Until next week. My friends, please, please, please do take care of yourself and each other. I sound like Jerry Springer when I say that, but please do share this with someone else that you think might enjoy it. Big, big week for us. Thursday for me is no injuries, a wee bit more game time in the legs of some of the periphery players. Sunday's the big 8. 3 points there would be absolutely massive for us. Come on, Rangers. Let's get it done. Until next week, all the very best, okay? Follow.